Hi guys, I am Brittany Zamalik with Brittany Zamalik Health. We help women learn how to stop dieting for forever, for once and for all, and instead teach them about nutrition, teach them to work out for their body types, teach them to eat for lowering inflammation so they can get rid of that stomach bulge, feeling like they are on fire for their lives, so they can show up in their lives and honestly just feel like they are fulfilling their purpose that they were sent here to do. So I'm really excited to see you guys today. There's a lot of people hopping on. Thank you. Hey, Nico. If you're hopping on, say hi for sure, please. Let me know where you're watching from. This will be on my feed as well, so if you watch the replay, let me know also. So today is going to be a little bit more of kind of like a training style, a little bit of some education for you, and I really think you're going to like it because I have based our training today on feedback that I am getting from people that join our program, from our clients. And the reason that they join our program, hey Stacy, reason that they join our program is because one of the big reasons is because they are coming up on what I like to call a milestone birthday. So what that means is maybe they are turning 35 this year, like me. Hey Kathleen, hi girl. Like me, or maybe, they are getting close to 50, 40, whatever it is. There's a milestone birthday that is just a few steps ahead of them. It might be this year, maybe a few years down the road, a few months down the road, whatever it is, but they are coming up on this milestone birthday and they are kind of starting to feel like, oh my goodness, like I need to do something. 35 is approaching, 40 is approaching, things are not the same anymore, things don't look the same anymore, I don't feel the same anymore, and by the time I am 40 years old, I want to make a significant change. I want to be in a better place when I hit my 40th birthday, when I'm having the party, when I'm enjoying, when I'm sitting around the room with my kids and my family. I want to feel a certain way. And so whenever we are feeling that way, we kind of feel like there's a gap between where we're at, where we want to get to. And whenever we kind of put a timestamp on it and we have this milestone birthday that I'm talking about today, it changes the game for us because then we start shortening time and we see, oh my goodness, I actually don't have all the time in the world to get the weight off, which is a very common misconception that we can have quite a bit whenever we have 10 pounds to lose or 15 or 20, is we tell ourselves, oh, I know how to lose it. I'll lose it when I want to. I'll lose it when life slows down. I'll get it together one day. I know everything that I need to do. Yet we don't do it. We don't put a time stamp on things, right? We don't collapse that time and say, no, this is the time frame that I have. Well, a milestone birthday does that for us. It helps us to say, oh my goodness, like it's a marker in life. So I'm going to kind of dive in a little bit today to give you some information on why you might be feeling like you're frustrated if you're approaching a milestone birthday, or if you're in your 40s or late 30s, 50s, 60s. Hey, the month of February, we had someone join us that is 65 years old, and that is incredible. You are never, ever, ever too old to get started moving in the direction of being healthier and getting healthier habits and adopting healthier habits. But I will say that the body that you have right now is a direct reflection of your choices and lifestyle that you have lived the last 5 to 10 years, the last 8 to 10 years. What you're seeing now is a reflection of that. Consistency compounds, and I say that all the time. Consistency compounds in either direction that you're going to go. So what you're dealing with now, what you see now, love this as a 50-year-old. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Weight loss relaunched, Dave. But just because we're coming up on milestone birthdays does not mean that we are over our prime. It just means that we have to adjust and we have to pivot a little bit. We have to be educated on what is going on in our body and why we need to change our tactics. We have no business doing the same things that we did as a 20-year-old. If you crash dieted, if you took diet pills, if you restricted way too much, like whatever it is, you have no business doing those things and trying to repeat those things now. If you've done something in the past and maybe it worked for a little bit of time, but now you're 20 pounds overweight and like you've gained all that weight back, I really want you to ask yourself, did it actually work? Did that really work if I gain the weight back and I have nothing to show for it except for living in the past of saying, okay, I need to get back there, like, dang it. My answer for you is no, it didn't actually work. So I want to kind of give you some tactics today. I want to give you some information so that you can kind of go away from this saying, oh my goodness, okay, yeah, I promise you, if you stay with me here today, some things that I talk about, you are going to say, okay, I'm totally feeling that. I've been wondering why that's not going to happen. You're going to learn a few things. So stick with me. Let me know. Keep the comments rolling for me. And let's get going on this. So these milestone birthdays happen quite a bit, and we can use those to take us in either direction. We can let it depress us, we can let it make us sad, and whatever the case may be, which we have no business doing, because we need to, as we age, we grow, and we just become more of that person that we are supposed to be. So instead of feeling like, oh my goodness, like here, I'm not here, I'll never get here, use it as momentum for you. Use it as a way to, put the blinders on, kind of collapse that time and say, okay, it's this many months and this is the way I want to feel. But remember, your transformation doesn't end when you hit 40 or when you hit 50. It's just that I want to feel this way by this time. I want to be working on it. I want to be heading in the right direction. I want to prove to myself that I can trust myself and I can finally say that I did what I said I was going to do, and I feel this way. I said I was going to feel this way. I'm working to get to feeling this way, and it makes all of the difference when you start to instill confidence in yourself. That confidence comes when you say you're going to do something and you simply do it. It's as simple as that, and it's as easy as that. We overcomplicate all of those things whenever we make it a little bit harder. So think about the gap. There's a gap from where you are right now to where you want to be when you hit 50 years old, when you hit 55, when you hit 40, whatever it is, there's a gap. It's our job, and it's your job to fill that gap. Let's close the gap with whatever time you have left. And my first point is stop investing time and energy into things that don't serve you anymore. There's a lot of, worry, anxiety, all of those things can completely take us over, and they can completely derail us from what our focus needs to be, what we want to do, and that goal that you have is worrying about all of these things. Because did you know that stress is it is a massive factor when it comes to weight loss, especially as we are getting older, especially as you are approaching a milestone birthday, because you might be getting stressed out that you are not in the state that you want to be in, that you're still struggling, that you still are thinking that you need to go back to the diet pills that you had whenever you were in your mid-20s. The fact that you would even be entertaining that thought is frustrating, because that shows a lack of growth. That shows a lack of taking the time to really take care of yourself. If you are going back to those thoughts of, I need to do this. Let me go try what I used to do. Old tricks aren't working. Well, no, old tricks aren't working because they were tricks in the first place. They weren't anything that was sustainable. It wasn't anything that was actually going to help you really get where you want to be, to end the struggle for yourself once and for all. And so stress plays a massive, massive role in us feeling like we are present in our lives, in us feeling like we are losing weight. We are happy where we're at, but we're not going to stay there. We're continuing to move forward. It gets better, and it just gets better and better and better. And so if we are focusing in on everything that's wrong in our lives, if we are a massive worrier, if we have massive stress and we're not realizing the impact that has on your weight, and especially on your waistline, if you are somebody that struggles with like a spare tire, muffin top, belly bulge, whatever it is, stress needs to be on the top of your list to really take a look at and to pay attention to. Is this hitting anybody close to home? Do you feel like stress is something that you really need to start controlling in your life? And as you're hitting new milestones in your life, is stress something that is honestly really kind of at you, that if you felt like if you got this under control a little bit better, other things would fall into place better? Good says that's a hard yes. Absolutely, because whenever we actually stress, then our body goes into that fight or flight mode, and it doesn't know the difference between you running after your kid whenever he's in the street about to get ran over, and you're running and you see everything happening before you, and it's literally fight or flight. Like you are, every emotion, every hair is standing up on your body, inside, outside, all of the things. Your body doesn't know the difference in stress like that and then stress to where you are stressed at a number on the scale, or you're stressed because you have a lot to do and you can't get to the grocery store, or you're stressed because your work isn't going well and so then you just go through the drive-through. Like, it doesn't know the difference. And so if you are putting your body in a constant state of fight or flight, stress, period, it doesn't matter the cause of the stress, just stress in general, then you are honestly welcoming a whole slew of things that can happen down the road for you. And remember, I said that your body right now is a compilation of the last 5 to 7 years and how you've taken care of yourself, and the priorities that you've put in your life. Stress is one of those. You can see the direct correlation. And so you need to honestly be thinking about that, because the stress you've got right now, you might be thinking, okay, it's not a big deal. I can handle it. Like, nothing bad is happening, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're somebody that is like a diehard, workaholic, and you don't prioritize sleep and you don't get any sleep, and the sleep you do get is crappy, stuff like that, and you're like, well, it's working for me, it's okay, it will catch up to you. It will catch up to you. Our bodies are not designed to live that way. If you are someone that is on a very, very restrictive, low-calorie diet, or you're hardly eating anything at all, or you are restricting one day and barely eating, and then the next 2 days is a massive binge, and it's working for you right now, hear me out, it will not work for you a year from now. It might not even work for you 3 months from now, because the body cannot live that way. The body is smart. It is smart. The Lord designed us and our bodies to be incredibly, incredibly smart. And so whenever we are in a constant state of high stress, I'm looking this way because I have some notes here because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys a lot of really good information. So are you liking what you're hearing so far? Do you feel like you've learned something? Let me know. Whenever we're in a high state of stress, we are much more likely to have higher levels of cortisol in our body, and that puts us in that fight or flight mode. And so whenever we're constantly stressed, we have a faster heartbeat, we have higher blood pressure, our digestion slows down, which is very, very much a reason why we deal with a lot of bloating, and why whenever something happens in our day and we are super stressed out, have you ever realized the connection between your gut and your environment? Like, what's going on if you have a super stressful day, something's happening, or let's go back to that example that I gave, running out in the street with your kids. If you see them out there and then you see a big car coming, you're running out there, you're like, oh my gosh, you're in fight or flight mode. Have you noticed that the rest of your day, you're probably gonna have a stomach hurt? If you're in an awful, terrible relationship and there's fighting all of the time and there's screaming and there's yelling, it's likely that you have a very bloated stomach and you have a stomach ache. Just thinking about it, that's stress, okay? You're gonna have all sorts of digestion problems, high blood pressure, stomach ulcers, cardiovascular disease. Stress and worry literally can take years off of your life. It can literally take years off of your life. And so if you are coming up on a milestone birthday and you are really wanting to get yourself in check, not only with a number on the scale, because that can only go so far for you, that can only make you so happy, but instead actually learning to ditch all of those things that maybe you were the fads in your 20s and that worked for you in your 20s or whatever the case may be. You've got to let those go and adopt new habits, and those habits really involve stress management and taking a look at how you handle that stress. We can't always eliminate all the stress in our lives. We just can't. But we can work on the skills to actually make us react to it much better. And when we do that, then we will find that we start to see inches off of our stomach. We start to feel so much more at peace in our own body. We start to feel like we have a handle on our lives. And then coming up on this milestone birthday, we don't look at it as getting in our way and it being a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because you're learning as you're aging, and you're getting to a great spot. So stop investing energy and stress into things that do not matter. Focus on the things that matter in your life. Focus on reducing that stress, and these things will come. You will start to see and notice that you will feel significantly better. And as you're getting older, you're probably kind of becoming a little more health conscious as well. Because you might be seeing friends or family that you have like ran with, for however long you have known, and maybe they are getting diagnoses that you're like, oh my gosh, like him, like they're just like me, and they are having these phone calls from doctors, and they are now on different medications, and their lives are actually literally changing because of health issues. And it might start to get a little bit scary because you're seeing, oh my goodness, like this is not just happening to people that are way older than me like it was when I was in my 20s. Like this is happening to us. This is to me. It could just as easily be me as it is her, my best friend. And so you start to see that your health really does matter. It does matter. You can only say, okay, I'm 30 pounds overweight, I'll get it off. Hey, I'm 50 pounds overweight, I'll get it off. I'm 40, I'm 20 pounds overweight, I'll get it off. At some point, it kind of turns its face on you and stares at you whenever you see what an unhealthy lifestyle does to someone when they get that phone call. They're going to wish really, really quickly that they had paid a lot more attention to the things that matter, the things that do help to improve our health, to create an overall ecosystem that is going to elevate everything in your life and make it better. You're going to become more health conscious, and you might have already started to become more health conscious because maybe up until this point you haven't necessarily prioritized your health the way you need to, and now here we are, and you're like, okay, I'm still dealing with the same thing that I dealt with 5 years ago, maybe 10, maybe 20, whatever it is. I've never had this figured out. At what point in my life am I going to say it's enough? Because you know from experience, I know from experience, we can struggle as long as we want to struggle for. I do talk to women that are in their late 20s, early 30s, and then like I said, 60s. And the common denominator is that they still struggle. Some different struggles, but a lot of the same struggles. They don't know necessarily what to eat. They don't really know how to work out. They certainly don't know how to do it without going from one spectrum to the other, from not giving a crap to like full on obsessive mode. There's not really an in between, or maybe they've never tried to just do it without the diet pills, or just falling off completely after like a week because they do something that's so difficult for them to do. So do you get what I'm saying? Is you've got to say, okay, how long am I going to struggle for? I've got to decide to stop the struggle. And when that happens, when you get to that point to where you say, look, I'm not going back there. I am about to be 40 years old. Am I going to reach my 40th birthday still struggling with the same thing that I was struggling with when I was 38? Still struggling with the same thing that I was struggling with, and trying the same old tricks, and depriving myself, or putting my body through unhealthy things, or having these struggles in my brain and in my mind that I would never, ever, ever want my daughter to have, my sons to have. I would never want them to deal with this. I want better for them, but I'm not giving myself better. I have this much time until my milestone birthday, until this is going on in my life, and it is time for me to get it together. It is time for me to do something different and actually get it together. Stop trying to take the shortcuts. Learn what you need to learn. Make the adjustments you need to make. Is it going to be hard? Well, yeah, it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy, but it gets easier as you do it because you start to see the fruits of your labor come through. And that is priceless, especially if you're coming up on a milestone birthday and you want to feel a certain way and you want to look a certain way and you just want to get past mentally a certain place you've been at for so long. There is nothing more rewarding than, like I said earlier, setting a goal and making a commitment to yourself and then following through. That gives you so much confidence. And I would say one of the number one things that women need when they join our program and what they want is more confidence through and through, to wear whatever they want to wear, to show up however they need to show up in their lives, to be the mom they need to be the wife they need to be. It's just more confidence. The way to do that is to get started and to put one foot in front of the other, to put something on your to-do list and to be able to mark it off at the end of the day. Another thing that comes up whenever we are getting older is, us not we don't recover from nights of like eating super bad food or drinking alcohol. We just don't recover the same way, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? That's not a terrible thing. Hopefully we don't drink the same way, we did whenever we were 20 years old or 21 or 25, whatever it is. Hopefully we've grown. Hopefully we've stepped into that new phase of our lives. And that's what all of this is about, is saying, okay, I'm done with all of that. I need to step into this new phase because I'm coming up on a new phase. Is any of this landing for anyone? Let me know. Out of all that I've talked about so far this morning, which do you feel so far? What have I said that has kind of hit home with you? If you are coming up on a milestone birthday for yourself or someone you know, or you're just in a place where you're like, I'm ready and I don't want to feel like that at a milestone birthday. Maybe it's a few years from now, but I don't want to feel that way. So I'm going to be proactive and I'm going to do something about it right now. That's the key. That's the smart one. If that's you, then you are smart. Because get this. So after 40, our liver actually kind of starts to behave differently with alcohol. It's not really as simple as like getting up, getting some Whataburger, going on with everything. It kind of hits us a little bit differently because we lose lean muscle mass as we age. And so a higher concentration of alcohol stays in the bloodstream. So you actually feel more effects of alcohol as you get older because we naturally lose muscle mass. And that junk food, like I was talking about, the pizza, the ice cream, like we don't recover from it. You can't recover from it as quickly and as easily. And with the alcohol, with the late nights, with the no sleep, with the stress, with everything, because guess what? Like we don't hit a pause button. Like life really doesn't slow down for us. We've got obligations, we've got kids, we've got different things we're doing. You don't live your life that way anymore like you did whenever you were in college. Why treat your body the same way? Why treat yourself with that same sense of immaturity, I guess you would say, with your nutrition, with your food, with your workouts, with self-care, with honestly just caring about yourself and taking care of yourself? You're not in college anymore. So why treat your body like it is? Why expect these things to happen? We're not going to bounce back the same way. Our metabolism is changing. Your metabolism changes as you age. Mine does too. And those old tricks do not work anymore. And they don't work anymore for a reason. Like there's a reason for it. Hey, Anna. How are you, girlfriend? Anna's an awesome client of ours that is killing it. And has been killing it. So that kind of leads me into another point that I have is about our metabolism. Our metabolism actually does slow down as we age. We start to notice specifically extra inches like around our waist. That is one of the things that when clients come in and start working with us after a few weeks of our program, they really notice a difference in their waist. And that is a combination of, like I was talking about earlier, it's an ecosystem. Our program is an ecosystem. Our coaching is an ecosystem. There is never one thing that is going to move the needle. If someone were to ask me, okay, what's the one thing, one thing? It would be very, very hard to come up with the one thing. Hey, Christopher, my husband, love you. It would be very hard to come up with one thing because there is not one thing that's going to move the needle. If you only focus on one thing, if you only focus on what most people focus on, which is either over-exercising or they either focus on just slashing all their carbs, slashing all their calories, it might work for a little bit, but in the long run, it is not going to work and it's going to backfire on you because if you only focus on one thing and everything else is still going crazy and you're not addressing these things, it's never going to work. I hate to break it to you, but it is never going to work. And you probably really know that and you deep down know that. But the thing is, when you come on this milestone birthday, when you start getting older and you start realizing, okay, it's time to get this taken care of. Okay, I can't do these things anymore. You become more mature. You gain maturity. You have to come to a point where you realize, okay, I just need to learn this. Let me just learn these things. Let me just invest. Let me just see what I need to do. Let me just soak it in and then do it. Let me get this situated and handled once and for all. But you have to get to that point. And most of the time when you're coming up on a milestone birthday, you're really getting to that point. And that's why we have so many women that do join our program around this time of their lives because they realize and they say, I can't keep playing around anymore. No more games. Let me just know what I need to do. Get me there. No fluff. get me there the quickest way possible. They don't need a whole road trip, scenic route. I'm tired of trying it all on my own. Let me just learn how to do it. And so as we age, that metabolism slows down. And so if we don't realize that, if we don't treat our bodies the way that we need to treat them, if we don't address our nutrition and all of those other things that I've been talking about, then it can actually be concerning, because if you don't get it taken care of, we know that women store fat in our midsection quite a bit, and our hips. And so that is why, honestly, we see a large accumulation of fat in our stomach, in our midsection. It's almost the worst place to accrue that fat, because it absolutely can be linked to cardiac disease and other chronic conditions. There are health concerns. It is much more than just what you look like being able to wear a crop top or whatever the case may be, right? Or your jean size. It's a lot more than just that. It's actually your health, and it's actually your life. And especially if you're coming up on Milestone Birthday, or if you are a new grandma, you're about to be a new grandma, you want to be down on the floor with your kid, with your grandkids. You want to be there. You don't want to be the old grandma that the kids are like, oh, I got to go to grandma's house. No, you want to be the one that is active. You want to be the one that is out there, that is doing it. But you can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself. You can't do that if you're still trying the things that you tried in college. Ain't gonna work. So you have to come to the place and the point to where you're like, okay, enough games. All right, girl, enough games. You gotta kind of give yourself that tough love. So we lose our muscle mass naturally as we begin to age. When we lose our muscle mass, we burn calories at a much lower rate. We naturally are less active. As we age, we just kind of get lazy. We don't have as much energy, all of those things. And so we naturally just kind of become less active. We have more responsibilities in our lives, especially like if you're that new grandma, you might be babysitting watching your grandkids, different things like that. You're running around, you're driving a lot, like you have responsibilities. And so you just naturally don't move that much. Gender and genes really do play a role in the body that you have and how your body ages, and your metabolism rate. Men typically, honestly, have a faster metabolism because they have more muscle mass, they have heavier bones, they have less body fat, and so your genes do have a role in that. Your metabolism does as well, but you need to hear me out here. The less muscle mass that you have, the slower your metabolism becomes. And so as we age, as we come upon milestone birthdays, as we come upon things that happen in life that are milestones for us, and we see that we are aging, as we see that family and friends that you've ran with for forever are having health risks, health issues, if you're seeing them in your own life, in yourself, you need to know that as you hit certain ages, metabolism slows down, muscle mass deteriorates, things like that. But you can combat those things. You can combat those things, and you can move into your 40s and your 50s and your 35 feeling better than you ever have before. Is it going to take some work? Well, yeah. It's never easy to uproot old habits, right? And this time in your life, you are well established. You have the kids, you have the job, you have the house, you have the car, you have the things, you have the life, but there's certain things in there that you really do need to adjust, and it's difficult sometimes to let those things go that at one point in your life did help you out, but you have to understand and have that education. That's what we do in our program, is we really educate our girls on why these things aren't happening. Okay, so what's going on? So why? So let me tell you about your metabolism a little bit. I'm going to give you some age brackets here, and I want you to tell me where you fall within these age brackets. Okay, are you in your 30s? If you're in your 30s, tell me now. That's me. I'm in my 30s. So who here is in their 30s? At this age, when you're in your 30s, you might notice that losing weight is not as easy as it used to be, right? You're kind of like, oh my gosh, like just 5 years ago, it was so much easier for me to lose weight. But now, like I'm doing all the things. I'm doing the things that I know I need to do. I'm moving my body. I'm this, I'm that. I am still taking care of myself. But what's going on? Well, as we get older, when we hit our 30s, we likely have that family. We likely, we're getting more settled in our lives. We're a lot happier than we were likely in our 20s. I know that's it for me. You're not as physically active, and you can actually lose you can actually lose about 3 to 5% of muscle mass each decade, and it kind of starts in our 30s. So then at 40. If you are 40 and you are watching this live or on the replay, let me know. At 40, our body really does start to lose muscle mass naturally. So it's just naturally going to start going away. Like, bye, see ya, gone. This process is actually called sarcopenia. And so I'll talk about that in a minute, and that's something that is super interesting. Look that up yourself, sarcopenia. It's spelled S-A-R-C-O-P-E-N-I-A. Look it up, and you're going to be like, oh, okay. Yes, these are very valid points, and they are things that you really need to think about and you need to know about so that you can age beautifully, gracefully, come up on these years of your life and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel phenomenal all around, like everywhere, not just in one area of my life. So even if you're active, your body still starts to lose some muscle. It's just kind of that natural. So during this time, fat kind of can start to form instead of muscle on our body, which is why we have a lot of clients in their 40s that come to us because they're just like, I am literally like throwing my hands up, like I don't know what to do. And we actually have a lot of teachers. We have a lot of nurses that join our program. And the thing with these two jobs, I actually used to be a teacher. I used to be an elementary school teacher, and I know that it is go, go, go. It can be very stressful. There's a lot that goes with it. And there's a lot of responsibility on you as well. Same with nurses. Stress can be massively high, especially with the things in this world right now, this day and age. And so I think that that's just a direct correlation between our lifestyles and then our struggles. It kind of goes together, and we see it come in patterns with the people that we work with the women that we work with. So when we have more fat instead of muscle, when we have less muscle on our body, it slows down our metabolism. It doesn't let us burn calories at the same rate anymore. So we all have an amount that we, or TDEE, and we have a number that we burn when we are just sitting down. Like if I were just to sit all day long, and if you were just to sit all day long, you have a number of calories that you would burn just by doing that. Just to keep your body alive, your body burns calories. So that number starts to slow down significantly as you get older. You got to do something about it, right? And so there's hormones, there's genetics. A lot of women our age, not our age, but a lot of women in our program that are, mid 40s to mid 50s, they come in, they have a lot of hormonal issues. They have a lot of gut issues. They have a lot of estrogen issues. And those things start to pop up as they get older, and you cannot address those things, and you cannot fix those things with the college diets, with the starvation, with the things that you did way back then. It's not the same problem, so it's not going to fix it. Your body is different. You're 20 years older. Ain't gonna happen. So say, okay, bye, I'm better than that now. I'm growing, I'm looking forward, I'm realizing it's about health, it's about taking care of myself. And our program specifically addresses hormones and our digestion and inflammation and things and gut issues and gut health, things that women in this time frame of life really deal with. I have my own personal story about that. If you don't know what that is, send me a message and I will share that with you. Because it truly changed my life when I had to realize it is a lot more than just what I'm eating and how hard I can work out and the calories that I'm burning every single day. It's a lot more than that, because I want to be happy in my life. I want to be fulfilled. I want to be there for my family and my husband and all of those things. And as we age, we just want that more and more and more. Fitness is not something that takes up the massive amounts of our life, and it's not something that is center stage either in our life. It's not something that's a spotlight. It's just something that runs in the background that lets us be in the spotlight, that lets our life be in the spotlight. And so as we age and as we come up on these milestones in our lives, we start to realize, oh my goodness, I have not put the priority on myself and on my health as much as I need to, and now it's catching up to me, and now I will be 40 in a year, and I want to be in the best shape of my life when I get there. I have told myself that I'm gonna lose these 30 pounds over and over and over again, and I just haven't done it because I keep thinking I have all the time in the world. But while I'm having all the time in the world, my body is responding to what I'm giving it. My body is responding to my lifestyle. My body is responding to the way I'm treating it. And it's going to come back to me. It's going to, we get in, you get out what you put in. And if you haven't had it yet, it will happen. And so, like I said, be proactive instead of being reactive when it happens. And then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, when you get that phone call from the doctor or whatever it is. And so if you are approaching a milestone birthday and you feel like what I've been talking about today, you needed to hear, and you need to experience for yourself. You need to make it happen. You are at that point in your life that you're like, okay, this is not just like a want, like this is something that I am thinking about over and over and over again every single day. It's in my brain, it's in my mind, and I'm getting frustrated with myself because I'm just not doing it. Well, it might be a few other things than you just needing to do it. You need the right plan. You need someone to be able to coach you and show you one-on-one what the issue is, how you need to overcome it, how you need to let go of old dieting mentalities and tactics and the things that you did when you were in college and your early 20s and whatever it is, like those crazy diets. And you just know you need better, and you know that you deserve better, and your family deserves better, because you can't keep it up. You can't keep it up long term. If that is you, I want you to message me, send me a message. We're getting ready to open up enrollment for our next start date. Anyone that messages me here from this is going to get an early bird special, and we'll get to talk to. We'll really dive in. I just want to have a conversation. I don't send people straight and say, yes, book a call, let's go. No, there's a process, because I want to make sure that you would be a good fit for our program, and I want to make sure that we can actually help you and be what you need. If we can't help you, we will let you know, and we will send you on your way. We will give you any suggestions we can, recommend you to someone. But our specialty is truly helping women to understand what's going on in their body, to understand how they can eat in a way that is not a diet for the rest of their lives, that is really just elevating everything in their lives so that they can be, their life can be in the spotlight, star of the show, and then their health and their fitness runs in the background of their life. It supports the lifestyle that they want to live. And if that is what you're looking for, and that's what you want, and you're just at a place where you're like, no, I'm ready, and I'm ready now, then send me a message. Let's talk a little bit further and see where you're at with that. If you watch the replay, please comment. Please let me know what was helpful for you, what you learned, what you kind of open your eyes up to. Thank you for joining me. And I would always love to talk to you. Send me a message at any point in time and let's connect. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.